So I just made a video and I want to try to clarify what I said in the video. So there was a part where I was talking about how like you can do whatever you want. Like you can during the 24 hours in the day, you can choose kind of what you do. And like I understand the pushback that I'll get from this, but I want to try to clarify in this video mainly also the part where I was like you can leave your wife, you can leave your husband, you can whatever, because this idea didn't really cross my mind until I became single. Because I became single from a choice that wasn't mine. Like she broke up with me, so therefore it was a reminder that like humans can do what they need to do for themselves, like because like no matter even if it hurts somebody else. Like I don't know how to explain it, but we owe it to ourselves. But I feel like this is one of the main reasons why depression, anxiety, and all this is so, you know, on this level of like, just on this level that it really shouldn't be at. And because it's like I grew up poor. Like I'm not that fucking, whatever. I don't know how to explain it. But yet I'm able to set my days up to do what I want to do in a sense. Like, yes, I'm gonna, like, recently, I'm gonna have to get a job, like a normal type job. But I'd still only work for like 4 to 8 hours, probably like 4 to 5 days a week. But then that leaves many days to do what I want to do, work on the things that I want to work on, but also 4 to 8 hours a day, that leaves an entire 24 hours in the day. Like there's still so many more hours, but the it's this thing where it's like we have to also, like, we have the choice to take care of ourselves as well. So like I'm able to have this energy because I'm pretty healthy. Like I'm in shape. I stretch, I work out, I run, I jog, I go on hikes, I do these things that help me take care of my body. I eat pretty healthy. Like I eat a lot of bananas, right? So like it's just one of those things. But like I've been kind of just balancing the food right. Like I've been balancing the herbs. Like I take certain herbs that help me in my body and just help me in my life. Um, I don't know. There's just this thing that I do that I'm able to do no matter where I'm at in the world or no matter what my financial situation really is, as long as I'm not like a homeless guy on the street. But the funny thing is, even if I was a homeless guy on the street, I think I would still prioritize my health and still find a way to get my plants and herbs, like lion's mane mushroom extract and just all these different things. Um, but that's just the way I think. Like because I prioritize my health as well as at least I'm starting to, because I just didn't. I used to do it on and off, but it wasn't a priority. And I realized that we can choose our priorities. And that's really the thing. And because I'm a father, so that's a priority. But we also need to have a priority towards ourselves, because if we don't have a priority towards ourselves, then like we end up not feeling good. And if we don't feel good, that energy is around. Like if you're around people and you don't feel good, they can feel it. Like but if you're around people and you do feel good, they can feel it. Like it's this thing. So it's like reminds me of, you got to put your mask on, like in the airplane thing. Put your mask on before you do it. Put your kid's mask on. Um, that's real, and I think so many people don't put their mask on first, and that's what I mean by you can do whatever you want to do in the 24 hours in the day. Like you can leave your wife or husband, and like I said, I'm not saying leave your wife or husband, but I'm saying that if my ex didn't think that she could, then she would have been considered stuck in and no one should be stuck. No one should be like, no one should think they can't, because the thing is, you can if you want to. I'm not trying to say whatever, but I am just saying that if it's real love, a YouTube video won't fucking interrupt it. But I'm just, so many people don't think they can do what they want to do. They don't think they can, I don't know, like, just do whatever. Like, it doesn't matter what age you are. You can skateboard or BMX or, um, I don't know, bro. You can do whatever you want to do in life. You can learn how to, ride one of those fucking new, like hoverboard things, like if you're like older, or you can learn how to play all these video games. You can get, like, me and my daughter were talking about getting my mom a game system, and she's never played a game system, but like, we're like, you can play a game, and we're like, you'll enjoy it. Like, what type of games, we were asking, like, what type of games would you like, and like all this other shit, but like, it reminds me of that like, you can literally do whatever you want to do, but because, like, my mom, for example, she kind of thinks because she's older and she didn't do that when she was a kid, that that's just a kid thing. But I'm like, no, it's an everybody thing. It's a whatever you think, because it's our thoughts that kind of control our reality. So if you think it's a kid thing, then you're not going to use it. But it's a human thing, and you can do whatever you want to do with your life. And you can just, there's all these different things we can do. This is why, like, I prioritize plants and herbs and all these other things in my life, because we can do whatever we want to do in our life. But also, I know the tools that I need that help me and just help benefit me. I've worked on myself. I've worked on, like, meditating and psychedelics and the plants and herbs and the all these different things. But these are all the things that, like, I was, like, just trying to figure out me, trying to figure out what works for me. Tried so many different plants and herbs, but like, there's only a handful that I still use, because there was only those handful that actually worked for me. So we can do whatever we want to do. When I'm talking to, like, somebody who doesn't really know much about plants and herbs or any of that, I try to explain, like, the world has us kind of brainwashed that the only drug that's acceptable for us to use is alcohol, and they have us kind of brainwashed to the point where they basically don't call it a drug, but it is, right? But it's just because that's the drug that's okay. But I was like, well, theoretically, all these plants and herbs are legal, so, like, theoretically, like, we can all do whatever we want to do, but because these things are so unknown, or like, people, they feel taboo to people, they feel whatever. So it's like, it goes back to, well, everyone's thoughts creates their own reality, and if it feels taboo to you, that's because that's what you think, and then therefore you're going to gravitate towards the things that society that's not taboo. But that's what I mean by you could do whatever you want to do in your life. Like, because it's almost like people, like my ex-girlfriend leaving, like, oh my god, it's so taboo. But it's not. Like, it's, if you are unhappy in a situation, you should do what's best for you. And it's not just that, I only use that as an example because, like, you have no idea how many women feel like they just can't. Like, they can't leave, they can't whatever, and then they end up, like, miserable. I mean, men too, right? But there's this weird thing where I'm like, well, I left my the mother of my daughter when my daughter was 3, but I made a commitment to myself that I would remain in my daughter's life for the rest of her life. And still to this day, we still have such a close bond because I made that a priority, even if I wasn't with the mother of, my daughter anymore. And like, to, to this day, like, me and the mother of my daughter, we co-parent better now than ever. And like, it's this thing where it's like, well, we're doing a pretty good job co-parenting and, balancing this thing out or whatever. And like, um that's because I bet she made commitments to herself, I made commitments to myself, and like, this is just the thing. You can choose whatever you want to do. So yeah, I don't know, you can choose your life. So I kind of chose that, and that's why I'm now focusing more on trying to relaunch my business, trying to do these things, because my daughter's already older, the bond is already there, the things are already in place. So now I can focus more on other things. But that was just me thinking about me in my own life. Um, the way that I went on the psychedelic journey, I can choose. I chose to go on the psychedelic journey the way I went on it. I chose to look at it shamanically and to go on the shamanic journey to become a modern day shaman. And there was a lot of pushback on me saying those things, wanting to do that, uh, people saying that's not possible or whatever. But I get to choose how I live my own life. I get to choose what I do in my life. I get to choose. We all do. But we all forget that we have a choice. So we kind of, for a long time, I was letting life was living me. I wasn't living life. Life was living through me. I was kind of just going through life. And instead, I could have been like, I guess I was doing what I want to do. Like, I used to make music and I had the studio and all this other shit. And like, I was doing my thing. But I don't know. I guess I've always made time for the shit that I wanted to do, because I worked at this pizza place for 4 years, and like, I'd still make music. That's when I started my psychedelic journey. So I still started journeying with DMT, and started doing the thing. But I don't know. I always made time for the things that I wanted to do, no matter what I had to do. There's things I have to do. Like when I worked at the pizza place, I had to go to work. And back then, sometimes I would do 12-hour shifts at this place. Like, be there from 8 in the morning till 8 at night, because when I started doing dough, I had to be there at 8 in the morning. But like, there's these, I don't know, I still made time, like, because I was younger, so like, I was, I guess I'm still that energized. Like, I guess I'm still me. I'm still pretty energized. I'm still whatever, because I stretch and I work out and all that. Like, I healed my back problems. Like, I had some back issues, a couple years ago, but like, I fixed all that, and like, I just feel healthier and I feel just as energized as I was back then. Um, it's like, well, if you don't make time for yourself, who will? You know, so make time for yourself, as well as figure out what you actually want with your life. Like, I don't know, it's you'd find that the people in your life would be pretty understanding, more understanding than you realize. If you told them, listen, I need to do what I want to do for the next 2 days or whatever, or like whatever, and they'd be like, okay. Like, I don't know, like, you'd be surprised. Like, if you tell the people in your life, like, listen, I need a whatever, or I don't know, bro. Like, you can do whatever you want to do. Back when I was with my ex girlfriend, not the girlfriend that left me, but the girlfriend before that, I used to take plants and herbs all the time, and I used to trip or whatever, and she didn't trip. Like, she only tripped me once. But when I would trip, I would go to my friend's house and trip. When I would have my plant ceremonies and shit, I would just sit in the living room and take the plant ceremonies. She would either sit out there or she would go in the bedroom. Um, but, like, I still made time for me. Like, because, like, you gotta make time for what you want to do, and like whatever, no matter how weird it is, no matter how strange it is, no matter how whatever the fuck, like, it's just, it's your life, and you can do whatever you want to do with it. And I think that people, like, just feel like they can't do what they want to do. um They don't want to let the people down in their life. They don't want to whatever. They don't want to feel selfish. But no, we need to be selfish sometimes, because people end up with anxiety and depression and not liking the way they feel, and because they are not feeling, I guess, not liking the way they feel because they're in a situation that is making them feel not good anymore. And that's okay. Whether it's a job, like, because it could be as simple as a job. I only use the relationship aspect because that's the most extreme version of it. But it could be as simple as the job you're at makes you feel like shit. So then you should quit. Or before you quit, if you have responsibilities and shit, then you should start looking for other opportunities, other ways to make money that feel better for you. Whether it's a different job, because a different job could put you in a whole different environment, different people, and maybe they're more positive type people. Maybe they're just better people. And that's okay too. Like, but also, to do what we want to do, I'm going to end it with this. When you're doing what you want to do, you might only be able to do what you want to do for 1 hour a day. If you can only do what you want to do for 1 hour a day, then try to up it to 2 hours a day. And if you can only do what you want to do for 2 hours a day, try to up it to 3 hours a day. Like, and it's complicated what I mean by what you want to do, because some people just want to do nothing, and that's okay. But if you do nothing for a long period of time, it's not going to be what you want to do anymore. It's not going to make you feel good anymore. So, like, what I more mean is, like, the things that really set your soul on fire, the things that you love, the things that make you feel, I don't know, a lot of adults feel like my last video, I said whatever, like before the last video, I was talking about how there's, like, no such thing as growing up. There's no such thing as an adult. But what I mean is, it's like adults, the version that people have in their head of adults, even that kids have in their head of adults, it's just a kid that was stripped of the mystery and excitement and joy and beauty, and, like, it's like you're stripping that away. But no, we can have that, we can bring that back as adults. Like, you can still do what you love to do. If you loved to paint when you were a kid, you could still paint today. If you loved to make music when you were a kid, like I did, you could still make music today. Like, I'm not a famous musician, but I make music because it sets my soul on fire. Like, I make time for the music, and I always will. Because if I don't make music, I don't feel right. Like, I don't feel as good. I don't know how to explain it. But I feel so much better when I'm able to make music at least once a week. Like, if I'm able to work on a song whenever I want to work on a song. Like, whether it's once a week, once a day, whatever the fuck, like, as long as I'm able to do it whenever I want, you have no idea how great that makes me feel as a human being. But other people, they're not, making music doesn't set their soul on fire like that. Like, first time I did MDMA, I explained to my ex, like, I was like, it's like, because when I make music, it feels very similar to MDMA. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like a drug. Like, I've said that so many times in, like, way older videos, talking about how, like, making music just is so euphoric to me. Like, because I'm able to have a melody in my head, lay it out. I'm able to play with different frequencies of these instruments and arpeggiate them, or do all these different things, shape them, or like, do all this shit to it that's like, it's so amazing. And I bet people who paint paintings feel the same way. That it's so amazing to just have an idea and paint it. And it probably comes out more beautiful than people imagine, because sometimes it's like you are kind of like a medium to these ideas or to these things, and as you're being the medium, it's just like this euphoric trance like experience. And I feel like because I've made time for that every day or every other day or once a week or whenever I want, I just feel better in life. And I know everybody has something that's like that. That's like, because it I feel better making music that I want to make, because I've been working on making beats, and like making beats to because I have to start selling beats and all this other stuff, but like because I need to make money. But that doesn't feel as good as making the music that I want to make. So I always will make time for the music that I want to make, even if I never make money from that music. But I also need to make time for the beats, because I can make money from them. Like, not that I can't make money from the other stuff, but the other stuff is for that feeling. And the other stuff is because I'm trying to make a living from all the things I love to do. So, like, we have to just balance our own self out. And I can only speak for myself, because I only know what I love to do. I only know what feels good to me. I only know whatever. But I do know that when my ex-girlfriend left me, that was a perfect example of humans can do what they need to do for themselves. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You didn't do anything wrong. Like, it's complicated. Life is a very complicated thing. But people get so attached when we should just be connected. Like, a connection is beautiful, but like, you can start to gain an attachment that ends up being a little less beautiful. So it's like, if we can just kind of understand, like, I guess come from an understanding perspective of like, everyone has different feelings, and everyone's feelings can change over time. This is why communication is key in any relationship, friendship, whatever, because like I said, this goes for anything. It goes for a friendship. Maybe the friendship isn't vibing like it used to. That's okay. You don't have to spend every week, with those, with that person like you used to, if you don't want to. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's no harsh feelings, there's no whatever, but we need to start kind of realizing we can do what we want to do every day. And it might take time. You might only be able to do what you want to do for an hour, and it might have to stay like that for the next year. But maybe next year you can make it 2 hours. Like, we have to start dedicating time to trying to do the things that sets our soul on fire, because we only get this one chance to be who we are now. Much love, everybody.